Imagine spawning into a new world, but there's only snow. With limited food sources and limited structures, is it possible to survive and even defeat the Ender Dragon? In this video, I'll be trying to survive 100 days of hardcore Minecraft in this snow-only world. Day 1 begins with me punching my very first tree and creating a wooden pickaxe. Since food is going to be so hard to come by in the snow-only world, I need to make sure I don't take damage and don't run so I don't lose hunger fast. I then mine some cobblestone and coal, as well as make a full set of stone tools. I then find some easy iron and start my journey of looking for a village. Without any animals spawning out here, and me already taking damage, if I don't find a village, there's a very high chance that I won't even make it through the first night of hardcore. After making it to the top of the mountain at spawn, I see that I am completely surrounded by a frozen ocean. Knowing that I need to find a village, I make my way down, but just in case I don't find a village, I started breaking some grass so I can get some seeds. Because if I can't find a village, I'll have to start my own wheat farm to survive. I did see a pillager base off in the distance, but as of now, there is no shot we're going over there. I luckily do get some more easy iron and coal. I then make a boat so I can boat across the ice, as that is an extremely fast way to travel. I find a ruined nether portal, which I was really hoping I'd get some bread. Sadly, I don't get bread, but I do get this golden apple. I started to explore on land because I really do need to come across a village. Instead of a village, I do find this igloo, and when I went to go check for the secret room, sadly, there was none. There is this bed though, which is very good, so I still am happy I found this igloo. I continued to explore, but night was drawing near, and since I couldn't find a village yet, I decided to make this hill where my base would be. I slept the night, and it was time to begin to build my own wheat farm. I could continue to look for a village, but that is very risky because if I don't find a village, I will for sure die. All I could do now was wait for my wheat to grow and hope I'd be able to get bread before I run out of hunger. In the background while that was growing though, I decided to chop down some trees and start terraforming the top of this hill, as this is where I'll be building my starter house. I did decide to turn up my render distance because I thought it was just a little low, and I was able to see another ruined nether portal off in the distance, so I walked over there and was able to get another golden apple. But on my way back, I did see a village off in the distance, which is incredibly lucky, and I am so glad I turned up my render distance. I began to pack things up and I slept the night, then made my way over to the village. I began to check out this village, and unluckily there was only one chest in the entire village with just a singular potato. And to add to my bad luck, there was also only one farm with none of the crops close to being grown. So I decided to take a risk and go boat out looking for another village. I ended up coming across a pillager's outpost, but luckily in the distance there was a second village, and this one was definitely bigger than the previous. And after some exploring, I did find a pig! A pig! And I've never been so excited to see a pig, and when I took him out, he dropped 3 pork chops. How lucky. I decided to set my base up in this villager's house, and then I built around this farm so this farmer can't tend to the crops because these are now my crops. I cooked up some pork chops and ate for the first time. I also made a shield, then explored the village a bit more and came across a chest that had bread in it and more potatoes, and another chest that had some iron and a helmet. I took the crops from this farm because I was getting ready to leave this village, because now that I have a food source to last me long enough till I can grow more food, it was time to find somewhere where I actually wanted to live. Day 4, and I leave the village while taking a villager hundreds of blocks away from his village just to find a new village. I end up raiding this village and find some land that I actually really like and will build my base here. I set up a little camp and begin working on a starter farm. I want to get my actual farm going very soon, but first I'd like crops to grow in the background while I work on building it. I spend all of day 5 exploring my surroundings, as well as terraform some of the land around my base. Day 6 was mostly terraforming, but I did begin to plan out where I'd build my greenhouse. I make 3 stone shovels because I need to get a lot of sand, because the main block I'll be using for this greenhouse is glass. So I went out to go dig up a bunch of sand. Now there are no deserts in this snow-only world, but there are plenty of little patches like this where a beach would usually be, where I can get plenty of sand from. I then come across a village that's pretty nearby, and I was able to get leggings and a chest plate, and I'm now able to have a full set of armor. I finished the day digging sand and feel the snowfall for the first time 7 days in. I had everything ready to begin my greenhouse build, so I got building. Now this build, when I originally pictured it in my head, I believe it's because I remembered seeing it in an old Let's Play from NeoCubist. I then rebuilt it from my memory in a creative world, and now I'm here building it in this hardcore world. Here's what I was left with by the end of my first day working on this. I then started to chop down loads and loads of trees that I have previously planted. I harvested some crops and got back to working on the greenhouse. I then ran out of glass when I was pretty much exactly halfway done with this build, so I needed to get more sand. Day 10 and I had even more glass to continue building. I finished most of the outer layer on day 11, and when I went to get more sand, I saw there was an igloo, but I saw a pathway that led down into the igloo secret chamber. So I went down there to check it out, and it was as expected, and I was able to get a cactus, which is very nice because finding a cactus this way is one of the few ways that I'm able to get it in a snow-only world. Day 12, and I begin putting my finishing touches on the build of this greenhouse. Day 13, and it's finally complete, but it's now time to start putting crops on the inside. So after I shovel up the snow, I begin putting in the water spots and tilling the grass, so I can plant carrots, potatoes, sugarcane, wheat, and pumpkins. Afterwards, I was done, and here's a look at the greenhouse. I now won't have to worry about starving in this snow-only world. I did forget to plant the cactus first time around, so here's that. The next thing I wanted to do was go mining because this whole time I've only been using stone tools, so I sat here waiting for my food to smelt. Oh, and here's a look at the inside of my greenhouse. Day 15, and I ventured out to go find a cave. Shortly after, I was able to find one, and I began to mine. Since I was still in the beginning stages of this world, I was mining all the coal and all of the iron that I came across. Monsters weren't too big of a problem because I do have the shield, but there's still were some jump scares. Shortly after, I took out my first zombie of the world, and I still did see some creepers along the way. After some time mining, I found this little safe spot in the cave, so I decided to smelt some iron here, just so I can upgrade my armor and make some new iron picks. After coming across 3 zombies and constantly hearing zombies, I thought I may have been near a zombie spawner. Sadly, after looking around, there was no such thing. I did eventually hit deep slate, and there was a mine shaft nearby. I came across my first chest, and there wasn't anything too crazy, but getting a new pickaxe is always nice. I came across this more open part of the mine shaft, which was right over a massive cave, which I was very excited to go check out. But I can't do that quite yet because there are plenty of monsters around, and after getting hit by this poisonous spider, I decided to just relax for a little bit and regain my health. The poisonous spiders are so much harder to avoid taking hits from compared to regular spiders. They're smaller, faster, and of course when they hit you, they poison you. I eventually made it to the lower part of the cave and came across my first skeleton. Not today, thank you. I found my very first diamond, but this zombie in full golden armor thought that it was his. It was just one, I really could have left it for him. I continued to mine, having pretty bad diamond luck, not finding any more, so I decided to start branch mining for some diamonds. I did end up getting more diamonds mining this way. I was able to get 12 more diamonds after about an hour of branch mining. I eventually found my way into a new cave, and nothing too eventful happened. When this 4th creeper in a row hit, it broke my shield, which I did not realize at the time. So when I went up to this creeper, I went to block, but I couldn't block, and luckily I noticed that I didn't have my shield when I tried to block, otherwise this world would have been over. I am so glad I made a new shield, because the amount of creepers that spawn in caves in hardcore is crazy. Shortly after, I make a diamond pick and get 18 obsidian so I can have 4 for an enchantment table and 14 for a full nether portal. I then make my way up, and wow, I'm right by my house. Here's a look at all of the loot I was able to get on that mining trip. I start to smelt all of my ores. I then begin to terraform some of the land and chop down some trees. This is so nice to do with iron tools compared to stone tools. Day 23 starts with me harvesting my crops, which after this harvest, I am now very comfortable in my food source. Afterwards, I finish the day by chopping down more trees, planting a bunch more trees, and terraforming some more land. I then begin to build a storage shed. As I'm now at the point where I'm starting to get a lot of loot, I need to make sure everything is organized, so I started to build the storage room. Spruce is the only wood I can use in this world, unless I find a sapling in a chest somewhere else, but spruce also does fit very well with snow, and once I was finished with this build, I was happy with it, and I do think it looks very nice in this snow biome. Afterwards, I transfer and organize all of my loot into the storage shed, and spend the rest of the day chopping down even more trees. I follow that by spending the entirety of day 27 chopping down even more trees, and by the beginning of day 28, I was left with 10 stacks of spruce logs. I harvest more crops, plant more trees, and begin to build my house. The house I'm going for is a log cabin. I love how log cabins look in real life, so it's only right that I build a log cabin while we're here in the snow. Now, my house isn't going to be too big just because I don't generally like having big houses, only because the only thing I really do with my house is sleep in it and smelt food, so having a massive multi-bedroom second-story house isn't really the play, for now at least. Once I was almost done done with the outside build of this house, I realized that I made it wrong. I accidentally put this left part of the roof just one block up and now it's uneven. So I had to take it all down and do it again. Afterwards, I worked on the interior and the exterior of the house, and here's a good look at the house. I really like how this house came out, and just like our last build, I think it fits very well in this snow biome, and will look even better once it snows again and snow is on top of it. Since I do plan on enchanting soon, I'm gonna need a lot of leather to make the bookshelves, and since cows don't spawn in the snow biome, I was going to try and delete the snow biome. What I did was I went through and placed torches everywhere to melt the snow, and since a pig already did spawn earlier, I think animals can spawn in the snow biome. It's just extremely rare, so I hope by doing this I would up the chances. Sadly, no cows were spawning, but I did see a bunny, and that gave me a whole new idea. Bunnies drop hide, and if you take 9 hide, you can make 1 leather. So I had a new plan to make a bunny farm instead of a cow farm, but in order for this bunny farm to be as efficient as a cow farm would usually be for leather, I'd need to make this bunny farm 9 times bigger than what a normal cow farm would be. So I got some bunnies with some carrots, put them in a hole, and I worked on building a smaller version of the greenhouse, but for the bunnies. Once I was finished, it looked pretty neat, and of course it was almost identical, but smaller to the regular greenhouse. I then brought the bunnies into the greenhouse and started breeding them. I then went through and harvested my crops, as I was now going to need a lot of carrots, and try to guess what I spent the rest of the day doing. I followed the end of yesterday chopping down trees to spend all of day 35 chopping down trees. While I was recording, I did not realize how much I chopped down trees. At least I have plenty of wood. I wanted to get more diamonds, so I crafted 4 iron picks, so I can go down and create a mine shaft, so I can branch mine. As I was digging straight down the safe way, I came across an iron vein. It's a pretty new thing, and this is only like the 3rd one that I've ever found. It led me into a cave, and right at the cave, there was a spider spawner, which is perfect because I've really been wanting to find a spawner so I can build an XP farm, so when I'm ready to enchant, I'll have the levels to enchant. Nothing too crazy in either of the chests, but I am very happy I found a mob spawner. Since my inventory was already full, I made my way back up to surface, emptied out my inventory, and when I made my way back down, I was going down pretty safe down the ladders, which I am so happy I did because the water that I put at the bottom actually froze since the top of my mineshaft entrance is open. I really almost lost the world just like that. I began to start branch mining, and after going quite some time with making no progress, I found my way into a cave. Pretty early on, I was able to find 2 diamonds, and not long after, I was able to find another 2 diamonds. Sadly, that's where my luck ended, as I wasn't able to find any more diamonds, and I was pretty much out of torches the entire time I was down here. I made my way up the night of day 39, then on day 40, bred my bunnies and harvested some crops. Guess what the rest of day 40 was spent doing? Next up, I built a small shed for the mine shaft. This is going to be very important only because now the water at the bottom will not get frozen because snow is getting into it. Here's a look at the build. Yay! Since I'm getting pretty close to being ready to enchant, I decided to get my enchantment room built. I was gonna have it on this little hill with trees surrounding it and snow completely covering the floor. I planted these trees, worked on some of the walling, and making sure that I have snow only on the floor. And of course, in the background, I was still breeding the bunnies. And here's a look at what the enchantment room is going to be, when of course I can actually make the enchantment table and the bookshelves. Now I wanted to turn that spider spawner into an XP farm, so I got everything ready and went down. I began to work on the spider XP farm. It was pretty simple, although I did need a tutorial because this is only the 3rd time I've ever built a spider XP farm. I'll leave the link to the tutorial I used down in the description. The cool thing about digging out the area was I was able to find diamonds underneath, which was obviously very nice. As usual, there are some water spots and some fence gates, and the spider XP farm was done. Now they don't drop and take damage, but they do all get pushed to this one location. Day 47 went the same as 20 other days. I harvested some crops, bred the bunnies, and chopped down trees. Next up, I wanted to go mining for some diamonds. I'm currently 10 diamonds short of being able to have a full set of diamond tools and diamond armor, so I went down into the mine shaft and began to branch mine. Not too long into the mining session, I was able to come across diamonds, and not only that, there was 14 diamonds in this vein. I believe it was 2 veins combined because I don't think there's such thing as a 14 vein, although technically because they're touching each other, I'm pretty sure they're still the same vein. 14 vein or maybe an 8 and 6 vein, I don't know, I've never seen this before. I decided to show my coordinates here, so anyone who uses the seed to this world will be able to find these diamonds themselves, just in case you thought I was being sneaky and spawned in these diamonds. And also the day counter says day 47 and we're on day 48, and the reason for that is because Minecraft starts you off on day 0 instead of day 1, so the day counter is accurate. I didn't mine these diamonds, and I wanted to save them for when I inevitably get fortune 3. Inevitably. Inevitably. Since I was ready to enchant, I bred the bunnies and started taking them out so I can get hide. I need 4 for 1 leather, and I roughly need 45 leather. And when I was done, I didn't get nowhere near as much as I thought I would. Wow. I spent some of day 49 trying to hunt down bunnies, hoping it'd be faster than my farming technique. It's not. I then spent the rest of the day chopping down trees. Day 50, and I had a plan to increase the enchantment process a lot, so I can skip waiting to get enough bunnies to get enough leather. I could go to the nether, get ender eyes, find the stronghold, and then steal the books from the stronghold. At least that was my plan. But before I could do that, I did mine up 10 of the diamonds that were down there, and the reason for that is because I wanted to have enough diamonds to make a full set of diamond armor before I went into the nether. I'll be putting the nether portal right here with no build around it, but I am going to put a build around it after we see what's in the nether. I hope I don't die. What? You gotta be kidding me. I don't even know what I'm supposed to do. Wait a minute. Yeah, never mind. I think my whole plan is over. Before I do anything, I'm going to build around our portal. I'm going to create a spot with ladders and pile all the way up to the top and hope from the top I can actually find some type of biome. Oh, God. Oh my gosh, I actually jumped too. I almost fell off. Oh my gosh. I think when you do a single biome only world, it completely breaks the nether. Or at least makes the nether a single biome only world too, which ruins my plan completely. Well, I guess the nether is out of the question in this world. After the failure of the nether, I decided to make a tower around the nether. Now, it's not a tower just for the nether, but I would like a build and I do want a tower. So I began to build. Of course, in the background of me building, I was breeding the bunnies, but the majority of what I was doing was focused on getting this build. If I would have died there, I would have been so... And here on day 53, I finished with the outside build, and now I needed to detail the interior and the exterior. The first thing I got working on was this outer border part that I put out of bricks. I didn't like it, so I began to try to fix it, and after I tried to fix it, I still didn't like it, so I tore it down and replaced it with fences. I continued to work on the exterior, and on day 56, I was complete with the tower. Here's the view from the top. Day 57, and I go to breed my bunnies, and as you can see, I have a lot now, and there goes the entirety of my carrot supply. So it's time to harvest some crops. I then began to take out the bunnies as I thought I would have enough to get a full amount of leather to make all the bookshelves I'd need. I took out most of the bunnies, still leaving a good amount left, but I was only able to get 5 bookshelves, which is only a third of the way, so it is going to take some more time till I can enchant. I have a new plan to get ender eyes. After a quick Google search, I saw that you can get an eye of ender from a trade from a cleric. Now it's time for me to spend the next 9 days going through this process. The very first thing I did was go to a nearby village and bring villagers near my base. They honestly weren't too difficult to transport as there was a downwards hill where they were on, so it was easy to boat them there, and with the ice it was extremely fast. After I got 3 right by my house, it was time to start separating them and putting them in little boxes. I won't be making an actual trading hall for now because I just want to get the trades ready, but a trading hall and a villager breeder is definitely something we can look forward to. I break this villager's boat and trap him in this box, and when I go to break this villager's boat, yeah, he's just gone. He's just gone. Now we're down to 2 villagers. This villager luckily doesn't disappear once I break the boat, and now I have them in their boxes, and it's time to get the trades ready. I made my first trade with the Fletcher villager. That way me chopping down all those trees will be put to good use. Now the only way I can get the Eyes of Ender is if I level up the cleric and get lucky enough that he actually sells Eyes of Ender. Here's how I'd have to go through these days. I would first make stick trades with the Fletchers. I'd then level up the cleric. I'd plant trees and chop trees. Soon later, I leveled up the cleric and was able to get ender pearls, but not ender eyes. So I had to get a new cleric and repeat the process. I then maxed out the second cleric, and he also did not sell what I needed. Now what I'm gonna do is go back into the nether and pick one direction to go in and hope I can find a biome that's not the one that we're in, because right now I'm just hoping that I got an awful spawn and that the nether isn't broken because I chose to do a single biome world. I began to build off in one direction, trying to be as safe as I possibly could, building these walls around me. Once I made it to the land, I was still in the basalt biome, so I kept going through it, hoping to see a new biome, and I did come across the regular nether, and I also saw a warp forest in the distance. I was scared that the nether was broken because I never spawned that high up without any regular nether near me, and I've also never played on a single biome world, so I just assumed. Sorry about that. I carried on lighting my way up as I go just so I would know how to get back after I've hopefully found a nether fortress. And after a day of running, I did find a nether fortress. I stepped foot on the fortress getting 2 achievements and immediately fought a wither skeleton. Afterwards, right at the entrance, there was a blaze spawner. So I began to fight the blazes as I only need the blaze rods to make the blaze powder to combine with my ender pearls so I can get eyes of ender, because then I can find where the stronghold is at so I'm able to go to the end later on, and so I can steal the bookshelves from the stronghold so I can skip the bunny process. Through this battle, I did have to take 3 golden apples because at certain parts I'd get hit, and then when I'd go to heal, another set would spawn, so I'd have to deal with 6 blazes at once. Luckily, I did have my shield on me. After sitting there for almost an entire day, I was able to get 22 blaze rods and I made my way back. I could have explored the nether fortress more and got some chests, but I hate the nether. And I really did not want to die, so I made my way back following my torches. I make it back on the night of day 69 and set my loot up on the beginning of day 70. I had plenty of ender pearls from the previous trades, so I made eyes of ender and went looking for the stronghold. This journey didn't take too long, and by the end of the day, I was able to sit right above the stronghold. I broke my way down into the stronghold and very quickly I found the portal. And just 1 room over from the portal was the library, so I went in to break the books, which is perfect because I will now be able to enchant with my 52 levels. I also did come across a chest that had some nice books and an armor trim, along with a second chest that also had some nice books and an armor trim. I came up, went to bed, and made my way back home, which was incredibly easy because most of the surface is ice and the ice led me home. I've used up my entire wood source trading with the villagers. Yeah, there we go. Okay. The next thing I wanted to do was take on the ender dragon. But before I could get to that, I did want to enchant all of my gear. I spent days 72 to 84 enchanting everything. I kept needing to reset and reroll enchantments along with continuously get XP from my spider farm. After having everything enchanted to a level I was comfortable with, I was here. I have protection 3 on my helmet, protection 4 on my chest plate, protection 4 on my leggings, and protection 3 along with feather falling 4 on my boots. I now wanted to make potions. I've never fought the ender dragon on hardcore before, and I wanted to really ensure my life. In order to make the potions I wanted, I did need to go to the nether for nether warts and gas tears. I need to grab the nether warts, but since I'm already here, I think I might actually loot some of this place as well. Oh yes, okay, perfect. No, okay. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh, okay. And a saddle. Now the only thing left to do is get a gas tier. I've taken out 4 ghasts and I've gotten 0 tiers. Along with that, there have been another 3 ghasts that have despawned. It's time to go home. That trip to the nether was pretty much a waste. I got some nice loot out of it, but I won't be able to make the potions I wanted to make. I think I've done enough preparation. Let's go take on the ender dragon. Here we go. I'm taking on the ender dragon in Minecraft Hardcore for the first, oh my gosh. For the first time ever. I didn't mean to push the dragon fight this far back, but being in a snow-only world, it took so long to get everything ready. Oh my gosh. Okay, wow, what an awful spawn. One thing I could have brought that I didn't bring was some ender pearls. Oh no, here we go. I also could have wore a pumpkin. I probably should have done that because I feel like these endermen are going to give me some problems. My hands are sweating already and I haven't even done anything. I think I hit it. I took out every single... Oh my gosh. That actually got me. Wait, 2 of them. What the heck? Thank you. Okay, there we go. I just need to do that like 4 more times. Yes. Yes. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm glad I didn't have to water clutch that. Oh. This fight is not as hard as I thought it was going to be. One more shot and I believe, okay, one more shot and the ender dragon will be done for. Oh my gosh, free the end. I've taken out the ender dragon for the, oh my gosh. Yay. Let's get all of this experience. And yeah, that fight was fun, but it wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to be. The dragon didn't perch for long. Plus the dragon didn't shoot as many fireballs as I thought he was going to shoot. No! I now have less than 10 days to survive until I've reached 100 days in this hardcore snow-only world. Through these last days, I didn't want to start a big project as I wouldn't have time to finish it, so I did some smaller things. Since I had so many levels, the very first thing I went to do was make a diamond axe and a diamond shovel so I can enchant them. My first enchantment with the diamond axe was incredible, and the first enchantment with my shovel was also insane. I was ready to have to re-roll a bunch of enchantments, and I wasn't going to be too upset about that because of all the levels, but getting a great enchantment first try is amazing. Afterwards, I wanted to clean my base area, so I began to chop down a bunch of trees, and of course I was harvesting my crops, but this is the last time I'm harvesting my crops in these 100 days. I then terraformed a bunch of the land and made 2 fishing rods because I wanted to get really good enchantments on them, and the best I could do after a couple rerolls was Luck of the Sea 2 on one and Lure 2 on the other, so I then combined them to have an Unbreaking 3, Luck of the Sea 2, Lure 2 fishing rod. I then made a nice pond in the center of my little snow village, and it started to snow and the fish stopped coming. But I was happy it was snowing because now snow can cover a bunch of the land that has been terraformed and lost the snow. Afterwards, I went through and patched up some parts that didn't have the snow, just because I want all of the land here covered in snow and not patches of no snow. This polar bear has been here since the very beginning, so I named him Billy, as he is a reincarnation of Billy the panda bear from my 100 Days Bedrock series. I thought I could feed him fish, but apparently you can't feed polar bears fish. I tried both cod and salmon and neither of them worked. But hey, we have Billy in this world too, so that's amazing. I have now survived 100 days of Minecraft hardcore in a snow-only world. Through these last 100 days, I've been able to grow an abundance of crops, enchant full diamond gear, and defeat the Ender Dragon. If you'd like to see a 200 days in this world, please be sure to let me know in the comments, as well as what you think I could have done better in this video. Thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you all next week. It's good to be back.